Do you want to see the wild or do you want to be in it? If what you're after is close encounters, big five sightings, you can count on real comfort and a trip that runs smoothly from the moment you land. South Africa delivers that extremely well. If you want to be in it, if you want the feeling of being genuinely small inside something enormous, the unpredictability of an ecosystem that doesn't know you're there, that's East Africa for you. You're listening to Safari Scoop, where we take you inside the heart of Africa, one story at a time. I am Baraka.
And I am Magreth. Today we are bringing you another quick look into the wildlife moments and magic that makes African safari truly unforgettable. Welcome back to Safari Scoop. I'm Maggie. Last week, we talked about when to go. This week, it's where. And specifically, the question I hear probably more than any other, South Africa or East Africa? Baraka, when somebody comes to you with those two tabs open, what's the first thing you notice?
Usually, they've been reading for hours and they're more confused than when they started, which makes sense. There's a lot of content out there that compares these destinations like one has to win. But that's not really how the decision works. They are genuinely different experiences. The question is which one fits the person, not which one is better.
So it's less of a debate and more of a diagnosis.
Exactly. And once you ask the right questions, it usually becomes obvious pretty quick.
Let's give people an honest picture of both. Starting with South Africa, because I think it gets understood sometimes, almost like people feel it's the easier or the lesser choice.
South Africa gets unfairly dismissed in some circles. It's a world-class safari destination. What makes it distinct is the structure. A lot of the famous reserve, especially around the Greater Kruger, are privately managed land. Their guides communicate by radio. If a leopard has been spotted, you're very likely to see it. The lodges are exceptional. You can go off-road to get closer to animals in a way that most East African national parks do not allow. For someone who wants a high level of comfort, a consistent wildlife experience, and a shorter trip, it is hard to beat.
And where does it feel different from East Africa?
Scale mainly. And something harder to describe, the feeling of space. South Africa is managed in a way that it is accessible and predictable. East Africa isn't managed in that way at all. The Serengeti is over 5 million acres, no fences. If a herd of wildebeest decides to move 200 miles overnight, it just does. You're sitting in the middle of something that has been running on its own logic for thousands of years, and you have no say on any of it. That feeling you can't replicate in a smaller managed reserve, no matter how good the lodge is.
That's a meaningful difference, Baraka.
It is. And neither of it is wrong a choice. They're just different things.
So how do you help someone actually to land on one?
So there is a question that I always come back to. Do you want to see the wild or do you want to be in it? If you want to see it, if what you're after is close encounters, big five sightings, you can count on real comfort and a trip that runs smoothly from the moment you land. South Africa delivers that extremely well. If you want to be in it, if you want the feeling of being genuinely small inside something enormous, the unpredictability of an ecosystem that doesn't know you're there, that's East Africa for you.
Baraka, that's a really clean way to split it. Is there a type of traveler who always ends up in one camp?
Not always. But first-timers who are nervous about the distance, the logistics, and whether they'll see enough often do better starting in South Africa. It's a gentler entry point. And then they come back for East Africa because once you've done one safari, your appetite changes. You stop needing the guarantees and start wanting the experience of not knowing what's about to happen.
So for some people, it's not either or. It's a sequence.
For a lot of people, yes. I've had clients who did South Africa first, loved every minute of it, came back 2 years later wanting something bigger, and the Serengeti just completely changed them. in the best way.
There's a specific worry I hear about East Africa, that you have to stay on a designated tracks. So you are further from the animals. Is that a real trade-off?
It's a real difference, but people overestimate how much it matters. In East African national parks, you do stay on the tracks. It protects the soil and the ecosystem. But the animals in Serengeti are so used to vehicles that they often just come to you. I've sat on a truck while a pride of lions walked under the vehicle for the shade. Nobody drove anywhere. We just waited. You're not chasing anything. You're just there and the wild happens around you. I would argue that's more interesting than positioning yourself next to an animal. You're a guest. You're not directing anything.
Baraka, that's a different way to think about it than expected.
The track rule exists for a good reason, and the experience it creates, once people understand it, tends to be one of the things they talk about most when they get back.
So if one has to go, which one is it?
Come back to that question. Do you want to see it? Do you want to be in it? If the answer is I want comfort and I want to know I'll see the big five, start with South Africa. If the answer is I want to feel like I'm in something that I cannot control, then consider East Africa. And if you're honestly not sure, that's what the conversation with us is all for. We've helped a lot of people figure that out, sometimes in a single call.
And Baraka, there is no wrong answer, right?
There really isn't. Both are in Africa. Both will do something to you. It's about which version you're ready for right now.
If today helped you get a bit clearer, we have a free safari planning guide that goes deeper on exactly this. How to choose between destinations, what to think about before you start to compare, especially the itineraries, and what question to ask any tour operator. Free, no strings, link in the show notes.
And when you're ready to have that conversation, we're here. You don't need a decision before you reach out. That's what the call is for.
See you next week.
Thanks for joining us on A Safari Scoop.
If you enjoyed today's story, follow the podcast for more moments from the wild to vibrant cultures and stunning shores.
Until next time, stay curious,
Stay inspired, and keep Africa in your heart.